Welcome to Stretty News TV and our preview of the Arsenal match. I'm joined this week by pretty much you start to get familiar with these faces nowadays. Apart from Pasha's joined us as well, but I'll introduce Darren. How are we doing, pal? No, you seem to have muted and unmuted and then muted again, pal.
Yeah, good mate. And yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. No, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't actually watch the game. We was talking last time you was on about going to watch the game together. We didn't end up doing so, but not that it was that memorable performance against West Brom.
No.
Fortunately, Joe, how are we doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate.
Not too bad. You're looking forward to seeing my smiley face on Sunday.
Ah, yeah, can't wait.
Amongst the many flags in J stand. We hope. Yes, we'll give a shout out to that at the end. Pasha, we're joining you from college. Are you at college? Yeah, you are at college nowadays.
Yeah, it's boring here, but yeah, I'm doing it at university right now, so yeah.
No, yeah.
Naked or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of those clips from the Americans of women doing strange things in college libraries. Pasha decided to start off by sending me a clip of the hail that was coming down and where he is in the States. Absolutely torrential. So we're glad that you've dried off and made it, pal. Anyways, getting on to business. Arsenal. Where do we start? We got beat off them by that Welbeck goal. It's just terrible when you think about it. And we was pretty much on a bit of a really good streak after that game. We went on a really good streak, and Arsenal have kept their winning streak going, whereas we've faltered it the past couple of times, and it's just not really happened for us. So I just wanted to put some sort of discussions together today, really, because I think there's a number of talking points for the Arsenal game, especially. Because can we beat them? Can we get to that third spot? Will they falter if we do beat them? It's just a bit mental. If you do find something strangely in my camera in a minute, it's only the cat. She's trying to join in. But yeah, what's your first thoughts on this, Darren?
I think we just need to give a good performance. I mean, we saw when we went to their place, they absolutely dominated for a good 70 minutes, and then we went and got the goal, and we kind of evened it out a bit. And in the FA Cup, it was an even first half, on his even really, and then we made a couple of substitutions at half time, which I think completely turned the game in their favour. And I just think we lack a bit of confidence, especially against Arsenal. In the last couple of games, we've seen the lack of confidence, and I don't know what to expect really. I think we just need to deal with the threat of Sanchez, threat of possibly Giroud and Welbeck as well, because it's sod's law that any returning player will always give the game of their life. We see it with Tim Howard, with Everton, every game. He always seems to put on a good performance against us, and same with any club really. If you get a returning player, they're always going to give 100%, and we saw that with Welbeck when he latched onto a mistake that we made and proved pivotal.
Yeah, and I think the actual fact, the debate that I wanted to go on to is Welbeck's goal. He didn't really sort of show that much respect. Where we've seen this week, obviously, can't remember his bloody name now. He plays for Juventus. He scored. He scored. He scored 2 goals in the past couple of weeks against the former club Real, and showed them absolute utter respect. And obviously we got the same from Ronaldo when he scored for Real when we played in the Champions League a couple of seasons back. What's the thoughts on this lad? Because I thought that was a bit disrespectful to Welbeck. But would we get the same from Pogba in an issue? There's obviously been players that have left the club in sort of not the best of terms. So give us an idea. What would you like to see Welbeck be a bit more respectful this week? Obviously, Darren Fletcher comes off the pitch at West Brom. And I know he pretty much was the last one off, and we're still lapping up the applause. Rio Ferdinand gets his 5-minute clap last week because of his wife dying. I know it's different circumstances, but there's a mutual respect between the two, player and the fans there. So I think it's a bit strange But we didn't get that with Welbeck. Are we going to expect the same thing this week?
I think with Welbeck, I don't think he was being disrespectful to the fans. I think he was proving a point because at the end of the day, he's come and knocked us out of the FA Cup. He didn't want to leave, and I think he was shown the door by us. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, a lot of fans were on his back. There were a set of fans that loved him, a set of fans that hated him. But I just think if you're going to show the door to a player that's come up through the academy and done everything he can, then I don't think... I mean, he should show a bit of respect to the fans, but he's also got a point to prove, and he's there to win a game for his new team. And I think we saw it when he signed for him. I think the first thing he said was he's always envisaged playing for Arsenal. And I thought that was an odd comment. He didn't thank the fans or anything, and he just said, I've always envisaged playing for this team, and then started just talking about Arsenal constantly. So, I don't know. I mean, we'll always give him a round of applause because we always do that with every former player. But I don't think there's going to be 100% lack of respect there for him.
It's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Anything to add? With Pasha, obviously, you get some to get to these points quite quickly. Have you got anything to add from what Darren's just said?
Yeah, he's spot on. The thing with me is that, I understand he's trying to prove a point, but any top striker, if you want to be, that's like a simple goal that Valencia gave to him, The thing with me is that even Anderson had the bloody audacity to come and thank the fans, even though the amount of hatred he got. Coming from a local lad, he even thanked the fans. I know some people might say that, oh, he shouldn't have that. But, growing up in Manchester, coming through the ranks, scoring against Manchester City, scoring goals in front of Stretford and showing the badge and you go ahead, and when you join Arsenal, you don't even have the audacity to, thank the fans or the club. Louis van Gaal, he actually did him a favor, and look at it now, he's basically he's back to a left winger at Arsene Wenger, but he hasn't even been playing properly with injuries and somewhat he hasn't been starting. But the thing with Welbeck is I understand the thing that once players move on, it's time they could celebrate or whatever, but not right off the bat for me. RVP didn't do it right off the bat. Ronaldo, when he came in, he was so respectful. Morata, we saw that, even the way Morata was treated at Real Madrid, And, for me, with the thing with Danny Welbeck is that as a fan, I saw that as like a disrespect because, United fans, day in and day night, we saw how we support our players. Even I can't believe that he didn't even thank the fans or anything. And it might not be such a big deal to some others. For me, I love Danny Welbeck. I won't have anything against him, but I'm just saying that, like, as a fan, you don't want to see someone just leaving the club like that and then saying, oh, Arsenal, I always envision myself. You never envision yourself. You always envision yourself to be a top player for Manchester United. So those are some keys that will always make fans always turn back against him. But, no, he didn't really prove a point against United for me at that game because that was just a simple goal that Valencia basically gave to him. If it was all himself scoring a beautiful, fantastic goal, I'll give him credit for that. But for me, with Danny Welbeck, the way he did that, as a fan, I just saw it as a big disrespect. And you guys are from Manchester, so it's something ingrained. He shows the badge, he kissed the badge, and so we saw his celebration at the same time. Now, the passion when he scored that header, and he comes around and celebrates like that. And some of our fans start booing, and and the other half start clapping for him. And I just saw that as a big disrespect, not even having the audacity to thank the fans when he left, because Manchester's his home, and it will always be in his home. And he should have said something about it. As a fan, I just saw that as a disrespect. People have different opinions, but I saw that as a big disrespect from him.
Yeah, I was going to go back onto that Morata point. And you just said about him getting disrespect at Real when he was there. So there was a huge respect for him to go back to Real, especially after scoring twice in both legs against them and not celebrate. And I thought that was quite classy of him. But on also that point is that, and I know without going straight on to transfers and going completely off topic here, the treatment of Gareth Bale at Real Madrid sort of pretty much sums up. And I said this last night. They're such fickle fans at Real Madrid that really do my head in. And Joe, you've seen it with me before. Like people booing at Old Trafford, and it really gets on my tits. You just shouldn't really be all booing United fans. It doesn't matter what's going on and the results gone really badly. We got beat off City 6-1, and I can understand that, but I don't think I was there to see people booing, and I think that's sort of creeping into the game at the moment, which is ridiculous. I know that football fans are supposed to be there to, and have to pay high prices currently, but you shouldn't be expecting to be expecting to win every single game. I'm going to get attacked by a cat in a second. Oh, she's disappeared.
Well, when you talk about the whole booing culture, look at the West Brom game 2 weeks ago, where we got beat, and from J Stand where we were, there were quite loud boos coming from the Alex Ferguson stand, which I don't think it's so much to do with the result. It's like how we played in that game, because we were nothing short of shocking. The fact that he put Rooney and Van Persie back into midfield and played Fellaini up front, I think that might have been why the boos came. But it's this whole question of the football fan today thinks they're a customer and they deserve to be entered. They boo near enough every single week if they don't get a result, regardless of how the team's played. It's a lot of fans today feel like they're entitled to like a high quality performance because of the money they've paid, which for me that's not what supporting a football club's about. It's like you support the club no matter how you're playing. Fair enough, express your opinions about how the style of play or anything like that away from the match, but to boo your own team off the pitch, like there are circumstances like this, the derby match with the 6-1. It wasn't, well, from what I remember, there weren't even that many United fans left in the ground to boo at full time. But like this whole thing about, and I think United fans, might have come with success, that we feel like a lot of people at the match today feel like they're entitled to immediate results and immediate success, which I'll never really understand the whole idea of booing a team. I don't see what good it's going to do.
Well, even more for booing is the fact that you go chasing players' cars on the way out in the situation of Gareth Bale, which I think is even more extraordinary. But we'll go off the topic completely of Bale, because otherwise we could go on a transfer merry-go-round for the next half an hour.
I think it's worked for Fellaini though.
Ironically,
he got booed to hell in the Valencia pre-season game, and he's had a pretty good season.
Yeah, then he got ironically cheered when he scored, which was even more. I thought that was even more condescending at the time. I just thought, oh Jesus, what are you turning into? But then you saw it as a pre-season game, and pretty much people that do go to pre-season games, I'm not going to take a dig at United fans at any point, left, right, and centre. But you're going to pay your money, and you're going to take your family and your kids and stuff. Then you're going to want to see United win. Like I remember taking one of my cousins to his first United game was a pre-season friendly. I think in actual fact it was a testimonial match, and United lost there, and you just sort of went, it's not going to sit in the memory. I think if you go back to your first ever United match, you always want it to be a win, obviously to be able to remember the day. Getting back to Arsenal though, do we realistically think that we can beat them? Do we think they're going to falter, or we're just concentrating on getting this last point as it is pretty much to see Liverpool out of the race fourth? I'm going to go to Pasha on that one first.
I feel like Arsenal is just going to come there and they just need a point, honestly. Even if we do beat them, we need to rely on fucking Sunderland to beat them or make them drop points. And, I mean, they're fighting for relegation too, so that might be a possibility. We would have gotten easily in the top 3 if we just beat West Brom. And that just shows you these one or two few games we had in the season that we should have won and we dropped points. We should have moved away on top. But once again, this is all because of Louis van Gaal's first season. He didn't have enough time to access his players because he's going straight from World Cup to Manchester and flying to the States, and it's because of lack of depth our squad has. As soon as Daley Blind or Michael Carrick is out, Michael Carrick being the conductor of our team in a 4-3-3 formation, things change rapidly, and those things need to be addressed. All these top elite clubs, they have depth in their team. As soon as Michael Carrick is out, we were clueless, and then our own fans made a lot of our players as scapegoats. Now we've seen the amount of criticism Daley Blind is getting. Not mentioning that he was Holland's best player in Eredivisie last season, and some of the best players in the world formerly have been that. So it takes time, and I feel like a lot of our fans this season, ever since any game we lose, they make one player as a scapegoat and keep blaming him, and hopefully that won't be the case against Arsenal. But thankfully Arsenal lost against Swansea, and I have good confidence going to the game. But once again, if we play if we haven't been playing properly, so my expectations aren't going to be that high, because I feel like we might be playing shockingly again. Pointless position game when in the final third we can't do anything about it. That's the difference between Barcelona. People keep complaining that they're so annoying with a position, but they know how to finish another game. That's not the case with United. And once again, when you have Ashley Young and Mata on the wings, obviously that shows us that things need to be changed. And praise Ashley Young, fantastic performance against Crystal Palace. And to be honest, I hope to see some youngsters play against Arsenal, especially the fantastic performance Januzaj had against Manchester City and for the under-21s. And so I don't have too much high expectation. I'm just gladful that we're in the top four, but once again, we're not technically in the Champions League because we got to be in the tough qualifier match, and I guarantee you that.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty harsh. In actual fact, if you go through, I think someone had written down, catch his head over the ball. If that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, I think it was going through the list someone had put up on Twitter yesterday. I think was the potential of those qualifying, because we only had to do one round of the qualifiers. The potential for the clubs that could be in there are pretty much the same as what you would get in the normal Champions League in the bottom two sort of type teams, and they're beatable teams, Olympiacos, teams like Wolfsburg and things like that. But it's more of a tough thing with the way that they changed the Champions League this year. So do we push against Arsenal? You just mentioned playing against some of the youth, and I think a lot of us as United fans would love to play youth, which is strange. We'd always want to see youth at this stage of the season. And I was there on Tuesday night for that youth game, and Pasha said that Januzaj, he sort of came off the boil a bit. He didn't even start on the boil, to be honest. He sort of boiled into the second half and didn't do too badly after that. He obviously puts the ball in for James Wilson's goal, which is a brilliant pass. But apart from that, he didn't really sort of step too far over the performance. I thought there was the likes of Rothwell and Wilson provided more and were more exciting. Is there any other players that you would want to see then, Joe, that you would want to see maybe starting these next two games, or even at the Arsenal game for that, like Pereira, for instance?
Well, you saw my lineup, was it for I can't remember, the West Brom game, and I had Pereira.
Yeah, the West Brom game, you mentioned Pereira, which is why I've just mentioned it then.
He's the one player that I'd like to see in these last two games. I wouldn't go with Januzaj. I think, for me, I think a lot of United fans are starting to lose patience with him because of they're diving in his game. Someone put a stat up that he's had more yellow cards for diving than he has scored goals, which speaks a lot. Like, they have had problems with that with players in the past. Like, look at Ronaldo when he first came. Like, the problem he had with going down too easily, and when he cut that out, that's when he really went forward. So I think for Januzaj, I wouldn't have him in these last couple of games. I'd be more inclined to put him out on loan next year to a lower Premier League team, to either Everton or Southampton, somewhere like that. But the one player I would want to see in the next few games is Pereira, wherever we can fit him in. I think he's definitely a better option than Rooney playing in centre of midfield.
Yeah, or Van Persie for that instance, as we saw against West Brom. Yeah, I think it's quite an interesting point to bring in sort of you for those sort of games. There were, like I said, there was a couple that had a really good game. Pasha, you joined us again after you disappeared. I was trying to sneakily get over the idea that I quite enjoyed Jan Hazard's performance, but I didn't think he was his best, even at under 21 level on Tuesday. And I'm going to be honest with you there, because I think he didn't start there. He didn't start off quickly. He sort of didn't look like he was interested, for instance. And you thought, hang on a minute. And yeah, that frustration, Joe, that you just talked about was probably a bit like that, because it's frustration for him because he's not playing the first team where he was. And let's not forget how poorly we were last season. He stuck out like a sore thumb because of that. So, and I've sort of wanted him to get back into run of games this season. And obviously, Louis van Gaal's seen that he's not up to scratch, and he's now playing in the reserves. So, I do agree with the idea of sending him out on loan. Your thoughts on this, Darren? Darren.
Well, he looks disheartened, doesn't he? I mean, every time he does appear in the United first team, he just looks disheartened. I mean, last season, as you said, he stood out, and to be fair, I think a lot of pressure's been put on him. I mean, he obviously scored some vital goals for us, and I think a lot of people were comparing him as the next wonder kid, the next big thing to come out of Manchester United. And when he stopped delivering those performances, everyone's like turned their back on him. And don't get me wrong, I think he's not been up to scratch at all. But I just think a lot of pressure was put on him, and you can see that he's not interested when he does come on and play, and he lacks passion. So I think getting him out on a season-long loan or something, or even half a season would benefit him, because he'll be playing week in, week out, get the experience he needs, and then he can come back and show us what he can do.
Sounds like pretty much a decent idea. And I think there's a one player in actual fact that I was quite impressed with. City pretty much dominated most of that possession of that game. In actual fact, there was a tweet from one of the MEMN's journalists that said that Sir Matt Busby would be spinning his grave because the under-21s playing that defensive the other day. And I can't remember who tweeted it with me, but I pretty much tongue my head in shame because I don't have a clue what game he was watching, but it wasn't the same one. United were attacking. Was it? And he just went, "What are you on about, mate?" We was playing brilliantly at the point of the fact that City's attacks pretty much broke down when they got to the defensive line. We controlled what we needed to control in the game, and we broke at pace and quite skillfully at times. In actual fact, they're playing keepy-uppers between Wilson, Rothwell, and I can't remember the young lad that came on in the second half and scored a brilliant goal. In actual fact, for his debut, just come up, and they were just pretty much playing keepy-uppers in the middle of the park with the City defence, and it was quite interesting to watch the City fans in the corner get more and more frustrated. But that's by the by. But I just think that sort of interest of being able to play, and Pereira missed this game. In actual fact, Joe, there's a stats for you. Pereira missed that game, so maybe that actual exclusion. I can't remember if I don't think he's injured or not, but that exclusion could give us, could give him a shout come weekend. I'm going to move on to an actual fact.
I think he's with the Brazilian squad under 20s, under 21s or something.
It's going to be possible in actual fact because I've been up and down watching the fact that England under 17 seems to be tweeting quite a bit because they're playing games at the moment as well, which is a bit strange. Patrick Vieira came out after that City performance and said about bringing these B teams back into the lower leagues, Premier League B teams. Was trying to bring up that sort of debate again. He needs to stop spending 200 million on his blooming elite development squad because they don't provide anything. They're pretty much fourth on the bottom of the crap. So second time they got beat off United, and if they get beat off United in the last game, they'll be watching them lift under 21 Champions Trophy. But let's get back onto a bit of a lighter note and back onto the first team. I'm going to ask you in order for your best Arsenal memory. Best memory against Arsenal, shall we say? I'll rephrase that one. Darren, Have you got a perfect one that you could really pick out?
Perfect Arsenal memory. I think for me it's got to be the 8-2 game. It was the one that stood out for me as I was there. Was a member before I was a season ticket holder, so I was lucky enough to get a ticket to the game, and it was just an amazing day. No one expected us to come out of a score line like that, and it was just awesome. I mean, the way we started and finished that game, I lost my voice at the end of it. See some quality goals, two quality free kicks, one after the other with Young and Rooney, and I just thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I think I've got to. Well, I've got to. You can't not agree with that because it was 8-2. Didn't we? I'm sure I keep getting this mixed up, but I at one point thought, didn't we play Raphael and Fabio somewhere further up the pitch than where they should have been in that game, or is that just a completely different game?
That was I think that was the FA Cup game.
I knew we played it with
really mixed. With the really mixed lineup, it was Fabio and Raphael on the right and left hand side of midfield in the FA Cup. And we're all like.
I sort of get those mixed up every time I think of that game, but yeah, that would have been quite an interesting one. Joe, let's have an Arsenal memory for yourself, pal.
Either FA Cup semi-final 2004, because I think I'm a bit young. I can't really remember the 99 one with Giggs, with Scholes scoring 1-0 during their Invincibles year. That's one of the best, well, I'll say best, but backs against the wall performance. United scored after about 20 minutes and then sat back. And I remember Roy Carroll being in the form of his life during that game. Either that or the 2009 European Cup semi-final away from home. And for the final, for the two Ronaldo goals in Ji-sung Park as well scored. And that final goal, that final goal in that game was everything United's about. How counter-attacking and how quick it was from one end to the other. I think it lasted about 10 seconds to be attacking it with 4 passes long. So either two of them games.
Yeah, I think that's quite obviously it's quite memorable. I think my first sort of pretty much, well, not my first memories of Giggs, but one of my memories of Giggs was Pastor's going on a walkabout. If he joins and flips back, I don't know why he's doing so. But anyway, getting back to the point, that Giggs goal in '99 against Arsenal. I had a love of wingers when I was younger, and obviously Beckham and Giggs stood out pretty much. But that goal by Giggs works quite well, because I just remember him running down the touchline with his shirt over his head. And I've spoke to so many Reds now that we're at that game at Villa Park, obviously become quite synonymous. Now that Pash has settled back down, and I think he's in college, but this is what the States are like. Have you avoided the women that are showing other things on webcams other than textbooks and calculators?
So you're talking about my favorite Arsenal moment?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite obviously is the 8-2, but being at Old Trafford last season against Arsenal, previous game, again being at Craven Cottage, we beat Fulham, and the Fulham confidence when we were trying to beat Arsenal, that was my favorite experience, seeing that RVP had right in front of me, actually. That was a special moment in my life, and so far that's been my favorite moment, traveling down to Manchester. So yeah.
Cool. We've had one in the comments underneath. You will have to bear with me. Next season, I will remember how to put that live chat box up for the guys on United Views every week, and it works perfectly for them. I will remember how to do it. We've had a comment in though. Atomic Cantonese says, I remember those 3 semis we had against Arsenal in League Cup and FA Cup in 1983, both riches to United, great United wins. Now that's pretty much beyond all 3 of our teams, so we're going to take your word on that one, pal. But yeah, United obviously that was one of those in '83. If I remember rightly, one of those in '83 won Fergie's first trophy. No, it wouldn't have been '82. Too early. It was '93 that I was thinking of. So yeah, there's some memorable moments in there. We've not had that many off.
I think when you think of clinical moments, I think that Giggs goal is always obviously going to stand out for every single one. But I think we've all got personal experiences after that. I mean, it's too easy to say, oh, that Giggs goal every time you think of an Arsenal moment. So I think to come up with something different is a little bit better sometimes.
Yeah, it's easier said than done though. Come on down. But I do like Joe's one for obviously the break with Ronaldo scoring at the end. That was pretty clinical, and I think it's pretty much what United fans loved about United at the period was the fact that we had pace in Ronaldo and Rooney, and we had that creativeness that that sprung us into life at 100 miles an hour. And the under 21s did bring that back a bit on Tuesday. It was quite good to see. So we've not completely gone to slow, lethargic, side to side, Tom Cleverley backwards passing as we seem to be under Louis van Gaal currently. A further note on Tom Cleverley, as many people have announced that I like to talk about Tom Cleverley. He seems to be only a goal behind Danny Welbeck in facts of goals this season, which is quite remarkable considering that I think he scored more this season than he ever did for United.
Tom Cleverley scored more than Falcao?
No, well, I have to get my stat book out now. Possibly, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he only. I think Falcao's only scored 3.
He scored 4.
4. Oh, he might be equaling him. I think possibly. Yeah. I'm gonna get some team predictions in a second. I'm gonna join in because I'm gonna tell you what Joe's dad thinks the team prediction is. Because we had Johnny Esco's dad predicts the other week, and he sort of gate crashed the party, whereas your dad's decided to do it the natural way of tweeting us in his prediction, as he likes to do every week. Pasha, give us your team prediction for this week.
Yeah, sorry about the background noise. De Gea and goal, right back Valencia. Hopefully center backs will be Smalling. I hope Rojo's back, but probably Jones. Left back, I'll go with if Shaw is back, probably Shaw in. If not, I want to see Ashley Young there, just to play Januzaj on left wing. But center mid, Daley Blind, and Fellaini, right wing Mata, out top Rooney, and hopefully Januzaj left wing. And because that's just because of depth, I had to put Ashley Young as a left back. But yeah.
I mentioned this one on the Palace fan reaction about Ashley Young playing there, which was surprising not to see him there. And I probably was being a bit biased by wanting to put Januzaj up into left wing, which on hindsight actually worked out that keeping Young in his right position paid off in the end, obviously with Fellaini's goal against Palace. Joe, your team, let's see if it differs any much for your dads.
I haven't really thought of one. I'm not going to copy him either because that's just a bit boring. Got to go to Hayring goal, Valencia right back, Smalling and Jones centre back. If Shaw's back, I'll go Shaw left back. If not, like Pasha said, go with Ashley Young at left back. And then in midfield, I'd have Herrera, Blind as well. Then Ashley Young, Di Maria, Fellaini and Rooney. And the only thing is I've just been looking on Physio Room and there are a lot of doubtfuls for this game, like Rooney saying's doubtful. We're seeing Van Persie with his mystery virus, or as some United fans are now calling it, that he's just a lazy ass and can't be bothered. If Van Persie's back in, I'd be tempted to have him in against Arsenal because I think he'll have a point to prove yet again. We saw that with his celebration in the game last year, that he's now got past going back to that respect thing. He now really does want to prove a point against them even more. So I'd probably if Rooney is out, like it's saying it might be, I'd go with Van Persie up front, and the only possible change I'd make is not to have Blind in the centre of midfield, have Fellaini there, and I'll go for youth and put Pereira in.
There it is. Pereira's in again. See if that comes to fruition. He might be sat on the bench. You never know what Van Gaal's got up his sleeve. Darren, starting 11, Paul.
Right, I've gone for Ben Amos in that.
He's just quite straight up.
No, I've gone for De Gea, Valencia. De Gea, Valencia, Smalling. I agree with Pash. I'd like to see Rojo back, but I just don't think he will. Sir Jones. I don't know what's going on with Rojo. I don't think he's injured. I just don't know what's going on with him. Luke Shaw left back. Again, Blinden, Herrera. Young on the left. I'm a bit unsure with Mata on the right because I think we go two left with Young on the wing because I just don't think Mata's got the same pace options as Young can offer. Obviously, Young's been taken on down that left wing and getting it into the box. Right? I think Mata goes more central to try and get it into the box. I think we just need that more attacking pace. So I'd like to see Di Maria, but there's talk about him being on crutches or something. I've heard that a couple of times. I don't know how true it is, but if Di Maria's fit, I think he could offer a bit of pace. I'd like to see Mata again behind Rooney and Rooney up front if he's fit.
Yeah, I just got to go back to that Di Maria point because you should know the latest transfer windows. You was at Carrington today, son. You should have known who was coming in, who was going out, and what sort of state they was in.
Everyone was in. I saw Di Maria come out in his Lambo. All I saw is that he had a big Adidas box on his passenger seat.
That's nice. He's probably got some nice new trainers off Adidas to start off the partnership. The sponsorship, he's doing quite well with that. Obviously, there's been quite a bit of a point about United players now having to come in their Chevrolets to keep the sponsors quite happy as well. I saw your picture on Twitter today, Darren, about the three amigos arriving in theirs.
Oh, mate, it was so funny. No, De Gea pulled up, Herrera was in the passenger seat, and everyone was like, oh, De Gea and Herrera. And Mata just wound the window down in the back seat and just went, voila. It cool as fuck. It was awesome.
He has got a sort of aura about him, Mata, that just sort of uber sort of aura about him that's sort of quite sexy in a way. Makes you like the man that little bit more. I was saying that Depay may outdo him because of the way that he's like Rio Ferdinand but next level. We'll go on to Joe's dad's team because I want to try and pick this up. I'm going to pick his brains on Sunday, but yeah, it wasn't the same as Joe's. In actual facts, we'll pick it up by doing the nifty bit of camera trickery by showing you. Green. Right, so here's Joe's dad's team. Starts with De Gea in net. You can give him a follow. His Twitter handle's there. De Gea in net. Valencia obviously right back. Smalling. What's he playing at here? Evans. Is there any sort of feedback from this, Joe? Come on. You've not got a clue.
Words on that. The fact that he's gone for Johnny Evans as a Manchester United centre half. So.
We can pick his brains on Sunday about that one, anyways. Right, Blind. Yeah, in actual fact, yeah, I'd like to see Blind back in that position. Doesn't do too badly. Play quite well in that position. Not this Jones idea. I'm not entirely sure about. I just don't think he got absolutely mauled. He played there for England last time he did it. It was absolutely sort of. They had to take him off after half time because he was just getting completely outplayed. He's too slow. The position, I just thought it was a bit mental.
He's less of a liability the further up the pitch he is, though, isn't he? So.
Well, you might as well play in Johnny Evans up front in that case, then, because he can't bloody pass it back to his goalkeeper from there.
If Jones plays in that position, he's getting injured. 5 bumps.
He's either that or he's going to be Sanchez is going to run circles around him at 100 miles an hour. It's just going to be diabolical to watch. But I don't mind that the rest, obviously.
He'll get beat on Sunday.
If we play that, they'll get beat.
Yeah, and you can quote me on that one as well. I
put it on tape now, pal. It's all over YouTube. What are you on about?
If we have Phil Jones playing there against Sanchez and Cazorla and Giroud, we've got no chance.
If Jones does play in that position, Joe, when we win, you've got to do your best Phil Jones face.
Jones had the one that got Di Maria on crutches too, so I don't really want so.
Oh, that was interesting to see. Have we got a response? We've got some response from Neil, but I'll not go into them because otherwise we're going to spend too long on them. I'm actually going to find my question from before. In actual fact, from Richard, who's on Twitter at Ricky_Red_Bank. He asked, "What do you think of the odds are in us keeping De Gea, or is he on his way?" Obviously, this is a key talking point that has been, and it's been on and off pretty much all week. He's staying, he's going, he's staying, he's going. Have we got any final thoughts on this, guys?
Personally, I think he's going. I mean, obviously I was at Carrington today as well, so when he did stop, so many people, there was only about 10 people there, but about out of 9 out of 10, because I didn't ask him, I've got a bit more respect, but everyone else was just like, "Are you going, you signed a new contract?" And he literally just stirred one guy out as if to say, "How dare you fucking ask me that?" And his facial expression didn't change at all. He didn't smile, he didn't nod or anything like that, and I don't know, I think it's been on the cards for a while. He's not signed his new contract, and with this Bale talk, they're only going to use him as bait.
Yeah, it's possible. There's talk of him signing a 1-year contract and doing what Ronaldo did, which I don't see the advantage of unless he has an absolute storming season next season. But saying that, Ronaldo did the exact same thing when he signed a New Year contract, played out his skin for the last season, and then left us.
Yeah, contracts don't mean anything anymore. It's just look at Patrice Evra signs a new contract, goes to Juventus. So I think the contracts are only there put in place so we can get the correct money for the player.
Yeah. I do that tactic on FIFA quite well. Strangely enough. Joe, your thoughts on this, pal?
I personally think he could be staying until next summer. After that, I think he'll be gone. But the fact that it's gone on for so long, either way, if he was going to go, there'd have been something come out by now that he was definitely going. If he was definitely going to stay, it'd have come out already. So I think he genuinely is undecided whether to stay or go at the minute. And by the sounds of it, Madrid are losing patience with him. They're wanting an answer pretty sharpish. So, because if they don't get him, they're going to go on toward the targets. So I don't know what the talk is about Madrid getting a transfer embargo as well for however long, both Madrid teams. So I personally think he might stay until next summer.
Cool. We're going to go to Pasha here. He's going to tell us. He's going to walk. And
sorry, it was too many Yanks. You guys don't want to hear too many Yanks talking in the background. But no, I think the thing with De Gea, I think it's going to come down to George Mendes. Honestly, the power that man has, he could do anything. And for De Gea, he always was meant to be Spain's #1, and we were seeing with the poor dip that Iker Casillas is having for Real Madrid, so anything could happen. And I do see him leaving, but if he does leave, we got to get a player in exchange. Either that's Bale or Rafael Varane, Carvajal, top players. So I'll be really devastated if he stays. He'll be the best signing of the summer. But once again, I think it's not down to him. I think it's down to George Mendes because he has to deal with Falcao too. So let's see what he does. And a lot of people say they're blaming De Gea, but the person that is signing the contract is De Gea, but there's a man right behind him that is not letting him do that. So it just depends. So I think it's down to George Mendes and De Gea.
Yeah, we're going back to the old idea of whatever his name was, but that was Rooney's agent. Well, it still is Rooney's agent that bloody pretty much dealt with Rooney's contract negotiations. Remember who's going to Chelsea and City? So yeah, it's a wait and see sort of situation on that. I hope that we've helped Ricky with some situation. Sort of, no, we don't have a clue, Paul. Unfortunately, that's the knife edge that we're all sat on at the moment. Obviously, we'd all like him to stay, but it's up to himself, more so himself, obviously. But obviously, there is complications with the fact that you've got Mendes and an agent on there. Going to wrap this up with quick predictions, lads. Joe, go on, give us a prediction, Paul.
I'm going to say 1-1. It'd be pretty sensible to past week.
I thought I was pretty sensible 3-1 last week. Wasn't too bad off. Pasha, prediction, pal, this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be 8-3 this season. No, I'm just kidding. 2-1. So
2-1. Going for a win. Which way are we going, Darren?
On the exact same as Joe, I think it's going to be a 1-0 draw as well.
I'm going to start this sticking my neck on the line, start business, but I'm going to go 2-2 draw. I can see us. Both teams don't really need to be playing for it, but if we decent attack them in decent way, then we'll do quite well against them. So yeah, that's my prediction. 2-2, get that 1 point that we need. That puts Liverpool at a safety. Then we can all sit back and watch Steven Gerrard's farewell shenanigans, wankfest, whatever else you want to call it.
£1,000 a ticket, apparently.
I just don't understand this. Obviously, it is like losing Giggs, Scholes, Cantona, sort of these big players that we've had down the years, but to be paying, people went to see Fergie's last and weren't paying that much money. And this is Sir Alex Ferguson, who'd won X amount of trophies with Manchester United. Giggs retires Giggs gets the perfect retirement, really, because he brings himself off the bench when he needs to in the game. He just went about it in a really sort of respectful and casual manner. And I just don't understand this whole idea that Gerrard needs to come up in front of the cop and have a conversation with people. Maybe he's just being a bit too much showman and going out as high as he possibly can after not being able to play as much as he possibly wanted to this season.
Well,
If
you look at the protest ticket prices last week at Hull at £50 a ticket, and now are willing to pay over £1,000 a ticket to see Steven Gerrard for 90 minutes. Like that's scouse logic. That's idiocy of the highest order.
To be fair, they probably did pay about £1,000 for United Liverpool, and they only saw 36 seconds of him. So to get 90 minutes, they'll probably pay a bit more.
Yeah, that's possibly true. Talking of 36 seconds, 36 seconds to go, and Pasha had to go. Pasha's had to get into a meeting at college, so he's gone. We wish him well with whatever he's doing for the rest of the day, over in the States. I'm going to move on to finishing this off quickly, and another reminder, and I know you're probably getting sick of these guys, but obviously the merger with United View is going to be massive. There's some great Scholes content coming up. I can't wait for this. Schrager has pulled some absolute beauties out of the bag when he was at Oldham yesterday, so get subscribe for that. That's going to be absolutely great. Competition details: to win 2 tickets, possibly to see another 36-second man, which is on Nargreaves play at Old Trafford once again. The United buying game.
Massive on United legends.
Yeah. And moving on swiftly. Yeah. To win 2 tickets through the United buying game at Old Trafford on 14th of June, which is pretty much just a few weeks away now, guys. The link I've put in the description down below. You can go and check that out up there. Or I'll stick it up there as well for you to be able to, to click and subscribe. You've got to subscribe and do the bit of email competition that's in the video that's Surge host, which is in the description, as I've just said. Thanks to my guest. Obviously, we've got to thank to Pasha, who just disappeared. Thanks to the guys that tweeted in. Yes, I will eventually figure out how to use live chat thing on this, and that'll be superb. And what was I going to say? Oh no, I'm going to thank these two, aren't I? I'm going to thank my wonderful guests, as in Joe and Darren. Joe, I will see you Sunday. Darren, that possibly could be the same.
Yeah, I'll come in your office for a few beers.
I'm glad you said in the office then, at the end of that sentence. We could have been...
I'll be thinking you're on fire on a Sunday.
That's not what people are expecting to hear on a Sunday. Watch out for some content over the weekend. Dale's joining us from Ireland, so the Stretty News crew are getting together over the weekend, which could be a fun weekend, including Sunday, and he's got some exclusive interviews to be put up on the channel for next week, so definitely give those a subscribe as well. Lots more content coming over the summer, guys. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Let's have your comments if you've thought of some points that you've disagreed with the guys or myself. Put them in the comments box below. We'll get around to those during the week, and we will see you again for a fan reaction 10 to 15 minutes after the Arsenal game. We'll be live on Stretty News TV. I'm not entirely sure who's doing it, but I may join in off the old mobile, live outside Old Trafford for the crack. So yeah, it's going to be all going on this weekend. We'll possibly get Dale's face on there as well. So yeah, we will see you possibly Sunday. If not, we will see you next week for the preview for the whole game. Check out the fan reaction, obviously, and United Views 10 o'clock show on Sunday as well. We'll see you again, guys.